It was definitely not an ordinary day for the scientific team in the Arctic area. Lead scientist Peter noticed something magnificent in the ice, but he couldn't exactly find out what it was. However, it was just a matter of seconds when the entire team was immediately on their way to get that piece of ice to the lab. But little did they know that a creature would still live in this coffin of ice. God knows how long this creature had been frozen in ice before Peter found it. He knew that this could be the discovery of a lifetime and could not wait to get it freed from its icy prison. But when Peter finally gets through the frozen wall and sees what it is that he is dealing with, he is stunned by the true magnitude of his find. He had brought people with him from the scientist camp to help him get behind the wall of ice and help him come face to face with what could be his greatest discovery. The crew starts to carefully chip away at the ice until they finally get close enough to get an idea of what they are dealing with. The workers all take a step back from the shock. Some even start to make their way back to the entrance of the ice cave. Peter just drops to his knees. How is this possible? But what did Peter discover in the ice wall? How had he even found this ice cave in the first place, and could this possibly be a discovery that the world would be better off without? But before we start, smash the like button and make sure to subscribe if you haven't, and hit that notification bell so that you won't miss any new stories. With century-old ice melting at an alarming rate over the past couple of decades, more and more secrets that were once hidden beneath it are becoming accessible, potentially revealing incredible things to be discovered, or things that should better be left untouched. Explorers from all over the world are ready to pounce on these opportunities, trying to forever cement their name in the history books. Most of these explorers fail dramatically in their effort, but Peter, a 36-year-old scientist, is not most explorers, and his most recent mission proved that. His journey will take him to northern Greenland, land that was previously completely inaccessible and thus still very much unexplored. But with the effects of climate change, this has recently changed, and Peter is determined to use this opportunity. And use it he did when he made the discovery of a lifetime there. Peter sets out on a challenging journey, equipped with minimal supplies, to uncover something hidden beneath the ice. The first few weeks test his endurance, but his determination keeps him going. The harsh conditions and dwindling supplies make Peter question his decision, yet he pushes on. Weeks of isolation bring him to a wide ice plain where he spots something unusual, a rock formation. It feels like his last chance to find what he's been searching for. Approaching the formation, Peter notices a breeze coming through holes between the rocks. This anomaly sparks his curiosity. Could it lead to something extraordinary? He removes a heavy rock, revealing a hole that seems to slope downward. Despite the risks and his isolation, Peter decides to investigate. Cautiously, Peter descends into the hole, which quickly transforms into a narrow, icy tunnel. The further he goes, the tunnel widens, and the entrance fades into a small dot of light. Peter's seasoned experience as an explorer compels him to continue, despite knowing the dangers of being alone. Deep inside, Peter encounters an ice wall unlike the others. Its dark silhouette piques his curiosity. Shining his light, he realizes there's something behind it, but its nature remains unclear. His mind races with possibilities as he considers what to do next. Surrounded by uncertainty and realizing the gravity of his situation, Peter knows it's time to act sensibly. He can't unravel this mystery alone. With a reluctant but wise decision, he resolves to return for help, ensuring he can safely explore this discovery another day. The journey isn't over, but for now, Peter's curiosity has found a balance with caution. Before leaving, he pulls out a piece of paper and begins to map out the cave as best he can. He wants to be sure he can find this place again. It's only once he has this done that he makes his way back to the entrance of the cave. He was definitely leaving, but only for now. There was something here, and he had to know what it was. It was fairly easy to find his way back to the tunnel. Going uphill was another battle, but Peter makes it. By the time he gets out and back to the surface, it's dark. He needs to set up his camp soon or he'll freeze. While he gets to work with that, he makes his plan for tomorrow. He's got some work to do. With his plan in mind, he gets ready to sleep. He's going to head back to the nearest village. It's a 2-day hike. From there, he's going to recruit a group of people to help him get through the ice wall. All throughout the night, Peter dreams of the dark silhouette. What could it be? A new species? Something made by humans a long time ago? Chuckling to himself, he even considers the idea of Bigfoot, but that's absurd. He barely gets any sleep, but come morning, Peter is ready to take off at the first rays of sunlight. He had noted his exact location on a digital map he had downloaded, but this was very inaccurate, as the map was way too zoomed out. So he was doing his very best to remember the exact location while journeying back. He had picked out certain landmarks that helped him pinpoint the exact location of the cave again. He was determined to find his way back to the cave, whatever it takes. Nobody would stop him. This could be life-changing. Peter already pictured himself famous. In the town, Peter is quickly able to round up some guys that are willing to help him out for money. He doesn't tell them much about what he thinks that he found, and just keeps it at needing some help digging out something from the ice. People in this area are willing to do anything for money. Will twisting the real truth catch up to him? Luckily, the townspeople are not interested in asking a lot of questions and are just interested in making a quick buck. They get supplies, tools, and snow scooters that are capable of traversing the terrain. Between this and paying the helpers, Peter sees his bank account drain very fast, but he is willing to spend every penny he has and even goes into debt if necessary, as long as he can make this discovery. He just feels like this will cement his place in history forever. He always wanted to be famous for something he would discover. Deep down, he knew this was his moment of fame. The next day, they attempt to travel back to find the exact location, but this is a lot more difficult than Peter had hoped. Could they even find the cave again? Luckily, they can easily find back the area in which the cave is located, because Peter noted it on the map. But because there has been a snowstorm raging for the past 24 hours at least, a lot of the area has been covered in snow. The entrance was nowhere to be found. Peter got a bit desperate. How could this happen? The landmarks that Peter had tried to remember are mostly covered, and this makes the search for the cave a whole lot more difficult. But luckily, it doesn't get that far, as one of the helpers, who is poking in the ground with a stick, suddenly feels it shoot through the ground and falls down. He poked the stick straight in the snowed-in hole. Could this be the entrance that Peter had found just the day before? This must be the place. Peter's heart skips a beat. This is it. This is all that he had been able to think about for the past couple of hours. They make their way down the hole as quickly as they possibly can. They still had to be careful. The whole way down was slippery, and Peter did not want anyone getting hurt. Peter was on the verge of making his discovery. When Peter sets foot in the big cave again, it is exactly how he remembers it. He almost sprints to the cave to get to his frozen treasure, finding it again within minutes. There it is, the huge wall with the silhouette inside of it. It is exactly the same as Peter remembered. The townspeople are very confused as to what they are witnessing. Peter had not told them anything about that they were going to have to dig out this. Peter wondered for a second if the townspeople would be willing to help him in his endeavor. Then the oldest stepped forward. Now, the helpers themselves are getting excited. Were they going to be part of something historical here? They are quickly getting to work, but try to be as careful as possible. They don't want to risk damaging the find in any way. They started speculating about all the possibilities. It could literally be anything. They did not expect finding this, though. They need this in prime condition, if at all possible. The layer of ice is very thick, and getting through it as carefully as they are doing, it takes a hell of a long time. They were not sure if they even brought the necessary equipment for the job. Then suddenly, it happened. One of the workers hits the ice a little too hard, and everybody stops what they are doing. Suddenly, rumbles are going through the cave. From the point where the worker hit the ice, large cracks are starting to form that spread quickly through the ice. Peter's heart skipped a beat for a second. What was happening? The helpers all take a couple steps back, and some even start running towards the entrance again, fearing that the whole cave is about to collapse. But Peter is frozen in place. Seconds later, the ice wall that they have been digging in for the past hour comes crashing down in a million pieces, and what has been hidden behind it for probably centuries is finally revealed. Peter can't believe what he is seeing. He drops down on his knees. This is not what he expected at all. Behind the ice wall is not a creature, but just a stone wall. But a stone wall with an enormous and most likely ancient drawing of a human-like creature. Peter was extremely disappointed. It was still a great find, but not what he expected it to be. It was drawn so thick and dark that he was able to see the silhouette through the clear ice. But now that all the ice has broken away, a lot more drawings are revealed on the wall. They remind Peter of old caveman drawings. Hunting scenes, people, fire, all can be made out from the drawings on the wall. Peter had expected to find the remains of some undiscovered creature, but maybe these drawings could be an even more significant find. He had to get the news out as fast as he could. It was still a great find. It proved that humans had been here, and maybe experts would be able to determine from when these drawings originated. Peter knows that is now time to inform the media and his peers. This was probably one of the greatest discoveries in the area that has ever been found by a single man. In the next couple of months, a lot of experts visited the ice cave Peter had discovered, and the site was quickly declared protected so that people couldn't enter it without permission. Peter was really proud in hindsight. It did cost him a lot of time, money, and effort. But now, he was part of the history books. Peter was credited with the discovery, and his name would forever be cemented in the history books. It was and still remains his crowning achievement as a scientist. He might not have gotten rich from the discovery, but he cared more about the credit anyway.